Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, Cesar Espino, and today I have a special guest. She is a transformational leader, creative visionary, and a master of Northern Shaolin Kung Fu, who turned childhood trauma and domestic abuse survival into a life of purpose and impact. An actress, writer, director, and producer, she is devoted to bringing truth to light through her story. Her work centers on helping others rise up beyond adversity and reclaim their power. It is my pleasure to introduce you, Symone Fairchild. How are you, Symone?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And also now a best-selling author, international best-selling author. So that is amazing. Um, Before I dive into all the things you have going on, tell me a little bit about your upbringing. Where are you originally from and how's your upbringing?
Sure. So I'm originally from the Washington, D.C. area, although I am totally a Cali girl now. Love
I don't
Cali.
blame you.
I know, right?
Right.
Um, I come from a martial arts family. I was born into martial arts, and I started at about 3.5. And, it was the way of life. So there was no saying, oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to do something else. No, there was none of that. So I grew up in martial arts. Is a very, what I call testosterone sport, very
Hmm.
masculine, driven sport. Um, and I was good at it. Although I was the quiet sibling, I was
Yeah.
also the fighter. So,
Yeah.
um,
Nice. No, I love that. So,
yeah.
a lot of things, as people are growing up or kids, right? You hear the idea of when I grow up, I want to be a doctor, firefighter, policeman, something to that nature, right? What was your dream, or what was that one thing you wanted to become growing up?
Wow, it's so interesting because like I had two very different things that I wanted to do. I wanted to be a veterinarian and I wanted to be a model.
Mm,
Two completely different things
yeah,
on
100%.
one side of the brain, but it just goes to show you how my brain is wired. I use both sides of my brain,
Yeah,
pretty equally. So that went on for quite a while. Yeah.
yeah, got you. Yeah, got you. So, walk me through this. So, like, when did you move to California?
I'd say about 10 years ago.
Okay. And was that because you were chasing a dream? What was the reason why you moved?
Well, when I was in school, I was studying to be a veterinarian, and I got cast in a couple of commercials,
Okay.
and up until then, I had had no experience doing that. I always wanted to. I got cast in a couple of bridal commercials, and I was wearing these beautiful, luxurious wedding gowns, and from there, I was cast in a play. And up until then, I had no experience acting. I didn't even know that I was interested in it until that. And as they say, the bug bit me. I had been bitten by the bug. And so I went home and I told my parents, I said, I'm moving to LA.
Yeah.
My dad kind of snickered because, he coming up in martial arts, he did martial arts films. So that's his
Yeah.
background. And my mom was like, no. And I said, I'm going. And I was not a defiant child at all. I wasn't defiant. So I had two giant duffel bags and $400 in my pocket.
Wow.
And I moved to LA. And I've always been a very determined person, a very clear minded and clear headed person. So the moment I touched down, I was pounding the pavement. I was trying out acting classes, networking, meeting people, and just going and going. And I've been going and going ever since.
Yeah. You said something, right? So you're found something that of interest, and you said, you know what, I'm gonna just take the I'm gonna take the leap of faith, right? I'm going to do it, right? How important is it for people, right? You obviously you did it, so you've gone through this journey. How important is it for people to be able to follow their dreams, or follow that one thing that they feel like, you know what, this might be it? Because in your case, you were following that dream. Maybe the dream was to come to LA or California and get into acting and doing more of that. And whether that worked out or not, it doesn't really matter. It was more of the initial action of actually following through. So for those that are listening to us, what would you say to them in terms of like, even kind of questioning or going against the odds or your your parents, right? What would be your message to them of following that dream?
Don't be afraid. Don't listen to your brain. Your mind is going to say, no, alarm, no, danger, don't do it, because your mind wants to keep you safe,
Right.
right? Your mind is comfortable in routine. But that thing that's within you that is saying, hey, that's pulling you in that direction, like, hey, this is what you should be doing, this is what you should be doing, there's a reason why you feel that. It's because that's what's been imprinted on your soul for you to do with your lifetime. So listen to it. Your brain
Yeah.
will catch up eventually, but follow that nudge. That nudge is you listening to your heart and your soul.
Well, what about other people, family, friends saying you're crazy, don't do it?
Well, it's not their destiny. It's
Mm,
not, everyone has their individual destiny, right? And the vast majority of people are, part of the collective, right? And it's like, if you're a sheep in a flock, are you gonna jump off the cliff with everybody else? Are you? Or are you going to follow your dreams? Are you going to listen to your heart and your soul? And are you going to do it? Most times, your family, they are used to you functioning in a certain way. They're used to you doing a certain thing and using particular language and having particular actions. So once you start to pivot, it's uncomfortable for them because they can't predict it. They can't
yeah.
depend on it. So it has less to do with you and more to do about, with their comfort level.
Right. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. And I always tell people that sometimes, your loved ones, they don't, they're there, they want to protect you. Generally
Mhm.
people want to protect you. The challenge with that though is because they want to protect you, their own limiting beliefs that they have are
Mhm.
being transmitted to you and therefore are not allowing you to grow, right? It's not that they don't want to see you grow, but better because they don't know any better, right? They're not allowing you to grow. So I think you said it right. At the end of the day, everybody has a destiny, and do know that maybe they mean well in terms of, yeah, I want to protect you, but are they really there to help you grow? And the answer to that, I would say 9 out of 10 times, the answer is no. They're not there to see you grow, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So the second thing is now you're here, right? Very
Mhm.
little money in your pockets, a brand new city, a huge city to begin with, a lot of diversity, a lot of different things going on.
Mhm.
I believe that with that comes other challenges, right? And how am I gonna make it? Am I gonna be able to survive in this society or in this environment in this new city? What were some challenges that you were facing, right? Through that you've been able to or you overcame, right?
Mhm.
Specifically when you first got here.
Mhm. When I first got here, I was lucky because my father connected me with a martial arts colleague that they lived in Orange County in Huntington Beach, and they allowed me to stay in their very beautiful, guest room. Had a
Hmm.
full bathroom and everything. So I stayed there, but then a side of their family was coming from China to the States and they needed that space. And from there, I was couch surfing like most artists do when they move to LA. I was couch surfing for a while, which didn't bother me because it was just me, right?
Hmm.
So I would say, I mean, I had to overcome that, but again, like it didn't bother me because I was there. I was on a mission. I knew what I was doing, and I knew that I should follow that. And if I had to go through this in order to get there, then so be it. Um, the the deeper I got into entertainment, the more I started to experience, like they call the casting couch.
Okay.
I call it being Weinsteined.
Okay.
And it ranged from, casting directors being inappropriate language, all the way from going into the office of a manager and all he's wearing is socks.
Mm.
So being highly propositioned, um, uh, sexual assault, to be honest, sexual harassment. Um, the people don't realize just how prevalent that is in entertainment. And it I had a decision to make. It's like, okay, am I gonna let this keep me from doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or am I gonna pivot and do it anyway?
Yeah.
Well, me knowing who I am, the answer was to pivot. And so that's why I'm sitting here today. I've pivoted so hard that I'm now creating my own empire. So
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Before I actually go on to that, you know, I think, in every place in the workplace, there's always going to be inappropriate behavior and other things, and obviously a favor for a favor, or however you want to call it, right? And
mm-hmm,
so I think that that's partly also a reason why maybe a lot of people are so afraid to step into something new. Like, what do I need to do to be able to get that, right? Instead of how about if I, just earn it through my own sweat and efforts, kind of thing, right? And
mm-hmm,
so understanding that and knowing that you ended up taking that and say, you know what, I need to pivot because this is the path that I want to be on, but I don't want to be in this path with all that BS, right? Or dealing with all
mm-hmm,
that nonsense that is going on. I guess two things that I have for you. Number one is, what is your message, right? For people that might be facing that right now, that might be going through that, or that in some shape or form, unfortunately, due to the industry or the circumstances, are being uh, drawn into inappropriate behavior, right? And so, what will be your message to that? That's the first thing. And then the second thing I want to talk about, what is it that you're building right now?
mm-hmm. Whatever it is that you're meant to be doing on this planet, you never ever have to sell your soul in order to do it,
Mm,
ever. Because if it's something on your heart and soul for you to do during this lifetime, that is a divine gift that has been divinely etched into your soul. So it wouldn't make any sense for you to have to then sell your soul in order to be able to do it. So then the question lies with you: are you going to do it and find a way? Or are you going to ignore what it is that you're supposed to be doing on the planet? Um, and of course, I'm going to say, find a way.
yeah. Some people ignore it though because they're afraid. Some people ignore
Yeah.
it because they feel like, hey, there's nothing else that I can do. I need this. I need this money. I need whatever that might be.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're afraid that if they do retaliate against that behavior, that not only are they going to lose the opportunity, but it can bring some consequences. So, what is your message to those people?
Um, you know how they say, no weapon forged against me shall prosper.
Okay.
Again, going back to this being your divine appointment, what it is that's etched onto your heart and soul. Yes, people are going to try to tear you down. Yes, people are going to try to block you. People are going to try to ruin you. But those are the very things that make you strong enough to be able to rise up against them down the road. So keep going. Don't be afraid of the people who are your adversaries. Don't be afraid of those who are trying to attack you. The reason why they're trying to attack you is because that those interactions are meant to make you stronger so that you are prepared for the blessing when it comes.
Yeah. Yeah. I got it. So let's talk about the things you're building now. What is it that you have going on right now? You recently became a international bestseller, which is amazing. That's huge, and I know you have a great movement going on with that.
Mhm,
Before I dive into that, let's talk about some of the other things you have going on right now that you're building in terms of this mission that you're on.
mhm. Let's see. So I am in the process um, of building a Hollywood Against Trauma Black Tie Gala.
Okay.
I'm looking at sometime during, Q4 this year. It is going to be a platform where I'm launching my film and television production company, Dragon Entertainment. It is also going to be a fundraising platform for my documentary, Lean Into Fear. It's also going to be a space where my co-authors are going to come and, sign books and network and whatnot. We are also going to recognize individuals in entertainment, in politics, in the trauma transformation space advocates. We're going to be recognizing them and awarding them for creating safe space and holding safe space for others in those industries, because it is not often where they're recognized, and they are heroes and they need to be recognized. Um, for summer of 2027, I am planning a 10 city self love tour.
Nice.
And this is, I'll give you an example of what one of those events would be. So, we're probably going to start here in LA, of course.
Yeah.
And that event, it will be a major event where we invite thrivers post abuse. Not going to call them victims or survivors anymore. I have to change that paradigm.
Hmm.
So we'll invite them and they will come and they'll get manicures and pedicures and massages, but also inner healing modalities like um, sound baths and healing circles and whatnot. And the co-authors will come, and this will be a speaking platform for them as well. They will come and they will share their journeys and their energy and their frequency and the tools that they use to get from A to Z in person.
Yeah.
Um, it'll also be tons of media will be there. And then from one city to the next, instead of us taking a plane to go from one city to the next, we'll have a tour bus. So, imagine the relationships and the camaraderie that, is
Right.
going to be built, in between the cities and whatnot. So I plan on shooting a documentary around that event.
Nice.
And let's see, I've got a action espionage vertical right now that I am in the financing space of, and that's going pretty well. Might end up, being in a bidding war for that. So
Yeah.
that's
Love
exciting.
that. That's awesome.
So yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. 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 No, I get it. Let's talk about the book. Okay.
Mhm.
What's the
Mhm.
title? And well, let's start with that. What is the name of the title of the book?
Mhm.
And maybe the second question is the initial reason why you wanted to become an author.
Mhm. The book is called Extraordinary Trauma to Extraordinary Dreams. Um, to be honest with you, I never set out to be an author. Like growing up, writing was an outlet for me. Creative writing was an outlet for me. So I was always writing stories. And, eventually, someone in the industry suggested that I start writing screenplays. It turned out I was really good at that. And then one day, I would say probably late summer last year, I had a spiritual download
Mm.
and the book just came to me. And I was brainstorming about it the next day or so. And then the title came to me. And then soon after that, I envisioned the UN to be a part of the book and this and that. So I'm pursuing the UN as a sponsor, and it's truly it's a global movement, and it's turning out to really really look like that. Like it's really shaping up to be a global impact, global influence, global message, global movement. And it makes complete and utter sense. And feel, I can literally feel and see how it's moving people just in the reviews and talking to individuals who have read it. And just reading the back cover, people are like in tears,
Yeah.
joyful tears. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
That's awesome. I love that. And one thing you mentioned, which I think is a good lesson for the people that are listening to us, you
Mhm.
said that you had this spiritual download, right? And
Mhm.
so, from that came the vision or the idea, right? I always
Mhm.
tell people like write it down. Like if you have a vision or you have something like literally put a pen to paper to be able to write down what is it that you're trying to accomplish in life. Where do you want to be? How far do you want to get? Whatever that might be, write it down. And then after that, start looking at kind of asking, right? In your case, it's probably asking God, right? Some people may not believe in God, but they believe in a higher being. Hey, start asking the universe. Start asking, how can I bring this into my space, right?
Mhm.
Because I tell you, like for me, it was the same thing. Like I remember it was probably either 2017, maybe 2018, either late 2018 that I decided that I want to, I put it down in this vision. I wanted to be a number one best-selling author, right? Never in my mind that I think that I was gonna have that. Never did I think that I was gonna be able to do that. But I had the vision, and I actually wrote it down in this exercise. I was at a 3-day self and business development, and one of the exercises was things you want to accomplish, awards you want to have, and so on and so forth, and other two other categories. But in those categories, I wrote down I want to be a number one best-selling author, and I think that for me, it really started from that. I had that, and while I might have probably put it behind me, it came back to me a few months later, and then boom, I said, you know what? It's time. I need to go out and do it, right? So, kind of going back to what you just said, I think that's a huge lesson in anything that you want to do in life is just write it down, visualize it, and put it into practice. Because now all of that for you is coming all together. You're
Mhm.
seeing that, like you said, there's a lot of moving parts, and nothing in life comes easy, except again you have the tenacity to continue to move forward. And I seen you do this, which is huge from that perspective, right? Tell me, what do you think is, if not one, maybe a few of them, but what do you think is the number one lesson you want people to take away when they pick up your book and read it?
I want people, and I know this is going to happen anyway, but I want to put it out there. I want people to see themselves in the journeys that they read about. And given given the co-authors and given myself and given where we all are in our journeys, the energy that we're putting on these pages, it is meant to be resonated with. It is at the point where the frequency is so high that people are going to see the light within themselves in these pages. And what I have to say to the audience is, don't write that off. Don't ignore that. Lean into that. If you get something in your mind that's like, wow, I can do that, or wow, that makes sense. I wonder, follow that thought pattern, because that connection there is bringing you out of your trauma. It's bringing you out of your rut. It's bringing you, this is a prompting for you to rediscover who you were always meant to be, what you were always meant to be doing. It's a prompting to raise your frequency. It's a prompting to heal. It's a prompting to grow beyond survivorship and into thriving and into your destiny. So listen to how you feel. Tap into how you feel and really pay attention to how you feel when you're reading this book.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love that. And what's the vision? I know you talked about what you have going on this year, next year. What are the things that you're working on right now, specifically with the book, that maybe people can be part of that? Like, do you have anything great coming up or happening with this?
Mhm. I am in the beginning stages of planning a book release party. Um, so once I start, doing all the PR and the media and the posting and everything like that, I would love to have people come out in person, ask questions, hear some excerpts from the book, buy a book, we'll be there signing the books and everything, take some pictures, be on the red carpet and whatnot. And just come and hang out with us and see what we're all about and rediscover yourselves in person.
Yeah.
And also we're going to be soon diving into a volume 2, so we're going to be looking for co-authors for volume 2 coming up here soon.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that intrigues me, like again, you've been here in this journey for, you said, roughly 10 years plus or minus, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, I'm sure many people are asking, like, And if that, I definitely want to ask is like, why haven't you given up?
There is no such thing. There is no choice. When when you allow yourself to align with what you are meant to be doing on the planet,
Hmm.
there is no sense of fulfillment like that, knowing that you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing on the planet. there there is nothing in the world that could derail me, and I mean nothing. Nothing. I am a thriver post abuse myself. I have been a pretty much complete single parent in one of the most expensive states it is to live in the country, and I've managed for us to not only survive but have my son and I have a extremely good and close relationship, and I am his home and he is my home. And if something like those two things can't knock me off of what I'm supposed to be doing on the planet, nothing can. Like, we were homeless for a little while, and that never derailed me. So when the when the chips are down is when I really lean into what it is that I'm meant to be doing, because I know it's divine, and I know that the light within me is the same light that I am putting into, and that makes up what it is I'm supposed to be doing on the planet. There is nothing in the world that can keep me from doing it.
Right. You said that when you know that one thing you're supposed to do, kind of like the purpose, or a lot of people say not only your purpose, your why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, then you have to go out and do that. Um, what about, like the message for those people that they believe or they know, hey, I have this in mind, or I believe this is my purpose, this is the thing that I need to be doing, but I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, I don't have the support. What about if I fail? Like, there's a lot of different things that I'm sure you've gone through, and you're probably, behind closed doors, are like, what am I doing, right? Yet again, having given up, which I think is huge. What is the message to them? Because again, there's so many different factors that can stop somebody from saying, you know what, screw this, man, I'm done. You know, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna go get a 9 to 5, and that was a stupid idea, kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Again, going when you're doing what you're meant to be doing, God, the source of all things, the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, will end up giving you the tools and the resources that you need to keep going. And the farther you go down that path, the more you'll be able to see the signs of a resource coming, whether it be money, whether it be a person, whether it be an entire circle and an entire industry, no matter what it is. The more you lean into that, the more resources you'll get, and the easier it will be for you to see them coming. It's like you'll be you're growing into this person, you're growing into the vessel that is meant to be doing whatever it is that you are meant to be doing. And you, the more you become that vessel, the stronger your frequency becomes. And the stronger your frequency becomes, the more you're able to attract what matches you, what matches what you're doing, what matches what you're creating. So you'll get more and more and more of it. And also during this process, you will be getting stronger and stronger and more grounded and more aligned. And the universe, well, I can't really say the universe, but there will be challenges, and they will be hard, and they will knock you down, and you will have experiences where you're like, I feel like I am drowning. And in fact, I had one of those just last week. I think it was, what's today? Today is Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Last Tuesday and last Wednesday, I had a couple of days where I was like, I'm drowning. I feel like I'm drowning. I feel like I'm drowning. And the moment I allowed myself to face that and admit that, literally the next day, I had, during my sleep that night, I had had a frequency upgrade. And the next day, I was filled with divine confidence, filled. And when that happens, my frequency is so high that literally within 24 hours, I'm attracting what I need in order to prosper at this new level that I've up leveled into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I really do. And again, kind of going back to what you just said, I love the fact that um at the end of the day is like you can be going through a lot of different challenges, and if you know and you're true to yourself and that is the purpose you have to be serving, like you said, you're gonna be able to bounce back, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's not what is happening to you, it's what are you doing about what is happening to you, right? What are the
Mm-hmm.
actions you're taking to make sure that you bounce back?
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge. So, Simone, if people wanted to, say, hey, I like, I kind of want to be part of one of your books, right? Or I want to at least come to the book signing, or I want to, buy your book, whatever that might be, right? I want Simone in my space. How can they connect with you and find out more about you?
Well, sure. They can email me, Symone, and Symone is spelled with a Y, Symone, Fairchild at gmail.com. They can also reach out to me on TikTok, and that's at Symone Fairchild, Facebook at Symone Fairchild, um, Instagram at IONDV. That's the name of my nonprofit. It's spelled EYEON. D as in dog, V as in Victor. They can also reach out to me on LinkedIn. And I think that's either look up IONDV again or Symone Fairchild.
Pretty
Or,
much anywhere in social media, just
yeah,
Simone Fairchild.
one of
That's
those.
one of those, right? They'll get you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, not only do you have to, kind of reset and kind of start working through whatever challenge you're going through, do
Mhm.
you have any habits, any daily habits that you do to center you, to bring you back to what you're trying to do? Like, are there any Tony Robbins refers to them as rituals, right? But
Mhm.
any habits, daily habits that you do on a day-to-day basis?
Mhm. Recently, I just started doing a chant about 10 minutes or so before sunrise called Sa Ta Nam Ah. And I do it for 3 minutes every morning just before the sun comes up. And what it's doing is it is allowing me to expand, and it's preparing my vessel for um, a very large um, frequency expansion that's coming up. So I'm preparing my vessel to be able. I'm preparing my nervous system to be able to handle an up leveling. So I'm doing that. But other than that, going outside and grounding
Mm,
barefoot,
yeah.
that is, but with everything that's going on in the world and all of the chaos just in the world, and then probably the chaos on television and chaos on social media and chaos with family and friends, when you go outside and you ground barefoot in the grass, sand, water, whatever it is, you are releasing whatever it is that's built up in your body into the earth, and then the earth is giving you back clean energy. And I,
I love that.
that that it works.
I love that. I
Yeah.
think part of it, what I would add to that, which I love that, is stop watching the news or TV.
Oh
That's
yeah,
bad news.
I stopped watching the news
I don't watch
years
any
ago.
of that. I think it's just, if it's like real news that I need to hear, I'll definitely hear about it through one of my entrepreneurial
Yep.
friends or something like that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
bad news, the news is just giving you, I think it's negative programming, in my opinion, right? And I
It
do
is.
believe that, what you listening, who are you listening to, and what you're listening to or watching, um,
Mhm.
unconsciously is programming you. I do believe that.
It is.
But my last question for you is for the people that are listening to us and or are watching us, if they're going through any challenge, right, whatever that challenge might be, what is one thing they can start doing to overcome that challenge?
Mm. Keep going. I remember through my journey, I would always tell myself to keep going. Now there are times when you really do need to sit still, right? But don't stay there. Don't
Mm,
fall into a depression. Don't give in to your anxiety. Keep going. Reach out for help. Call a friend. Reach out to an organization. Don't take no for an answer. If friends are not listening, family not listening, reach out to an organization that can help with whatever it is that you're dealing with. There is help. Get support, but keep going.
Okay, awesome. I love that. I love that. Well, Simone, it was a pleasure having you here. Thank you for giving us this space. And any last minute things you want to say before I let you go?
Um, I want to say thank you to you, my
Thank you.
publisher, because
Yes,
you have been incredibly compassionate. You have been incredibly supportive and patient. This is my first book. I had no idea what I was doing, but you are a wonderful leader, and I am grateful to have you in my corner. So thank
I love that. Thank you again for that.
you.
Appreciate you. And for the rest of you guys, do me a favor. Please make sure that you guys follow Simone. Again, you can check her out. I have her contact information in the show notes. And most importantly, please make sure that you guys share this message because definitely somebody needs to hear it. And I'll see you guys at the next episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.